I find a really good thing to start doing is to build tools that already exist. So, for example, the Go project that I was working on, I had never made a calculator before, um, and I knew like there's a command line tool that you can use where you can just like enter numbers into the command line and it'll like do whatever operations, right?
Hmm.
And that requires like some algorithm to like order of operations, right? So I learned about order of operations and I learned about an algorithm to implement that in Go, and I just did it. And it was like, I don't know, it just felt really good to do something, even something that already existed. It was really cool to have done it myself.
Okay, well, I'm Cooper. I'm from Denver, Colorado.
Denver! I love Denver.
Denver.
I served my mission in Colorado Springs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got some family down there. I love that
Oh,
place.
no way.
Um, okay, I started learning about tech in high school. I just took a random IT fundamentals class and liked it.
Nice.
And so when I got here, I started taking classes, and I'm liking it. But I guess I'm here to ask some questions. So I guess one thing that I looked for on the grad plan was that there are internships that I need to take.
Yes.
How soon should I look for one, and where should I look for one?
So, a lot of people will say to wait till your junior year to start looking for stuff. Like, they have career fairs every so often, I think like every year. And they usually say like, yeah, we're really looking for like juniors and seniors, but I would just go to those every year, honestly. As a freshman, you can go to a career fair and just start making connections and opportunities there. The church usually comes every year to BYU-I, and they have um, interviews with a bunch of students. And I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not looking for a specific year. So if you're good enough to interview with the church and get a position there, you can start anytime. But for me, I started looking my sophomore year.
Okay.
So I was a bit more active, like the second semester of my sophomore year, my junior year.
That's good to know. Good to. I'm actually gonna write that down. Okay. And what kind of classes were tough? Like, what did you do to get through those?
Okay, so for me, I'm a software engineering major, and my emphasis is in software design. So there's a specific series of classes for software design. Those are the toughest classes. So my emphasis, but I don't think you'll be taking a lot of those. But the way that I get through those, the tutoring center is a super helpful resource. It's free. You just have to like go, don't miss appointments, and because if you miss an appointment, they'll charge you like $15. But if you just go, like set up an appointment, and it's totally, you get free help. They help you with your assignments. They help you like get answers to your questions. Um, a lot of people don't do this, but because maybe it's I did it a lot. I emailed my professors all the time. So
Okay.
I think a lot of people are scared to email their professors. Um, but honestly, especially at a school here, like BYU-I, a small school,
Hmm.
like you can get really close with the professors and they can help you out with your assignments, anything you're struggling with.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the professors all seem very personable and like they want to help you.
Yeah,
A lot of them say just like, I want to help you pass, so I'm going to show you how to do it, and you're going to learn.
yeah.
And it's been super helpful. So
I actually
that's
have
good to know.
a story with that. So I took like a random humanities class my freshman year. Um, and just like a couple weeks ago, I was walking like around campus and I saw him and I like kind of recognized, I didn't remember his name, but he looked at me. He was like, "Hey Nathan, how are you doing?" Like he remembered my, it was so impressive.
Yeah,
They are really invested in the students here.
that's good to know. Good to know.
So, yeah.
What kind of projects did you do while you were studying that kind of helped you to learn and to kind of grow in the field?
That is a good question. Projects are definitely a big part of the learning here, especially in like software engineering or computer science. That's what most of like interviewers and like companies that you want to go to after are looking for in their candidates.
Mhm.
So for me, it was a bit easy because like I really enjoy programming. It's kind of like a hobby for me. So I just kind of did stuff that I liked to do. So for example, there, I was thinking about I was trying to learn a new programming language, Go. I had never done anything in it before. So what I did was I just went to the Go website and they have like a get started, and I just like read through some of the documentation. I jumped into an IDE, VS Code, something, and I just like started doing something. And sometimes it was a bit hard to come up with an idea, but I find a really good thing to start doing is to build tools that already exist. So, for example, the Go project that I was working on, I had never made a calculator before, and I knew like there's a command line tool that you can use where you can just like enter numbers into the command line and it'll like do whatever operations, right? And that requires like some algorithm to like order of operations, right? So I learned about order of operations and I learned about an algorithm to implement that in Go, and I just did it. And it was like, I don't know, it just felt really good to do something, even something that already existed. It was really cool to have done it myself.
Okay, so kind of like if I'm gonna paint, I'm gonna paint something that someone's already painted so I can see how they did it, and then I can go and use that somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say that's a good analogy.
Okay. What are good resources that you often use while programming or studying even?
ChatGPT. AI. Yep.
That's
Gen
been my
AI.
tutor.
It's really good to help you like break into a subject, something that you know like nothing about. It gets a little less useful once you're like in the nitty gritty kind of stuff. So if you're just starting out learning something, I would go to some kind of AI, Claude or ChatGPT. Um, Ask it some like basic questions about whatever software or whatever programming language. Then when it gets to like the more specific stuff, Stack Overflow, I'm really into Google. I just go to the search bar and I'm like, what the flip does this do?
Yeah.
And usually a Stack Overflow answer will come up or a GitHub issue. And if it's really really niche, sometimes you'll have to go to like the API docs of like the programming language. So like the Go website has like documentation for the syntax.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've experienced this a little bit, but I bet it's nowhere as near as others. But like, how do you avoid burnout?
Burnout. That is a good question. Sometimes I'll be working on a project and I am just so sick and tired of it, so I just don't touch it for like a year. Okay, so that's hard to do for like school assignments.
Right.
But definitely for personal projects, like I have a bunch of projects that are just like unfinished. That when I get kind of bored with it or tired of it, I just kind of put it on the back burner. And sometimes even just giving it like a few days will help like kind of bring your mind, we'll kind of work on it in the background, right? There's this one time I was working on my senior project, and it was, I'm working on like a full stack application, and there's just been some like really, really frustrating issues with the database that I'm trying to implement. And I was working on it for like 3 hours and I was making no progress. And I was so frustrated. So I just decided to close my laptop. I went to bed and literally like 2 or 3 hours later, I wasn't looking. I was doing something completely different. It just like came to me like how to fix the problem. So that it's a kind of tangential to burnout, but kind of in the same vein, I think.
Just like take breaks.
Take a lot of breaks. Yeah.
Good to know.
Long answer short.
Yeah, because I mean, like sometimes I just sit there and I'm just like, I want to get this done, and if I don't get it done, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But
work on something else, I'd say.
I guess this goes back to the first question, but how should I network as a freshman? Because it's like you said, they're looking for juniors and seniors for internships and for careers, but what can I do now to prepare for that?
That's a good question. Talk to teachers are a really good networking resource. They are usually very integrated with like the career fair, and so they can sometimes like hook you up with a certain company, or like sometimes the companies will reach out to professors and like they'll like ask the professor if they can like come into the class and get like 5 minutes to like share their spiel, because most of the time a lot of companies are looking like for like candidates to come to their job. So the professors are really connected with the career fair companies as well. Other than that, I haven't done a ton of networking, to be completely honest, but I honestly haven't really needed to. If you go to the career fair and just like talk to professors, I think you'll be fine. Get on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
My cousin also got me on Handshake.
Yep. You'll need that.
Okay. Good. And I guess this goes with both of our majors, but like I talked to one guy who's been programming for years, and he said that I should learn like 5 languages, like try to get a good knowledge of 5.
Yeah.
And then I can kind of branch out from those. Like, what do you think are some good languages that I should start with?
Python. I'd say C is a really good one to get into, because that one will teach you a lot of how like low level. I say low levels, but C programmers will think of it as high level. It'll teach you like how memory stuff works, like at the base level. Go is a good one for HTTP networking type stuff. C++, it's a branch of C. I have dabbled with Rust. So that might be a good one to learn. I've heard that one is very difficult to learn, though. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say which ones you should learn. I forgot about JavaScript. You should probably learn JavaScript as well for front end stuff.
Okay.
But okay, so Python, JavaScript, C. Those are kind of the base ones you really want to know, or at least have like some experience with.
Okay, good. Because like totally different things will use totally different languages, right?
Yeah, so you'll hear a lot, you should use the right programming language for the job, right? So Python is famously good for data science, but it's also like a really very high level, like abstracted programming language that almost anyone can like break into and like learn about programming through it. C and C++ are really good for like systems level programming, so like embedded systems, like microcontrollers, and where you need to like manually manage memory. There's also programming languages like Java and C#. Those are good for a variety of things. C# is used a lot in video games. It's very integrated with Unity, like Unreal Engine, I think, as well. And Java and C# are very object-oriented. Have you heard that term before?
No.
So basically how they work is everything is a class. Everything is an object, whereas in Python, it's less that way. You can make objects in Python, but it's not like a staple of the programming language.
Right. Interesting.
So hopefully that answers your question.
No, yeah, totally. That actually does help because like I need to figure out what I'm learning now before I get into anything. I know like it might change down the road, but what kind of like extracurriculars should I do outside of school that can help me to progress? Like I know you said you dabble with that for fun, like you program for fun, but like are there any like clubs or anything on school as well that could help me with that?
There is a computing society that I unfortunately have not been able to go to the last few semesters, but it usually the big one meets like every Wednesday or something.
Yeah, Wednesday at 4:30.
But then they have like smaller like sub clubs that are very like focused on a specific topic. So they have like a Linux club, they have like a cloud club, they have what else do they have? I think they have like a game development club. They have like a web club, stuff like that. So those are really good to break into. Those are also really good for networking. I forgot because they frequently bring in people from companies who are hiring.
Oh, that's good.
I think I was going to say something else, but I forgot. But yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, you should probably also do some sports. They have like intramural sports, which is like super fun. I think you can look at like I Belong or like Campus Rec or something, and they'll have like signups for various sports teams, which are super fun to do. And that's another way to like that's other thing you can do besides like programming or something to avoid burnout. So
Okay, that's good. And like I can network with companies besides like like Microsoft and like Family Search, which are super like tech oriented.
right.
Like I can talk with I don't know, McDonald's and update their tech. I don't know, random company that I thought of.
You probably could. I wouldn't know how to interface with a company like McDonald's, but you could probably look on LinkedIn and like search McDonald's, I don't know, senior software engineer or something, and just like search that in LinkedIn, and you'll find some like software engineers at McDonald's corporate probably. So I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
think outside the box.
So just kind of go everywhere, search up everything.
Yeah. And you can do that for pretty much any company. If you go on LinkedIn and search senior software engineer or software dev, like a bunch of people with whatever company will show up. And you can just like send them messages. Say like, hey, I'm looking for something. Do you have any ideas, or do you know of any open positions, or something the school, the Career Center is trying to get more students to do is what they call, what is it called? What is it called? Like a pre-interview type thing, like informational interview.
Oh, yeah.
It's called an informational interview. It's like just a 10-minute thing. You say, hey, can I get an informational interview with you? And you just ask them about questions about what they do for work, what projects they're working on, what tech stack they use, stuff like that. And just like get information from it. And that's a really good way for them to know that you are like really interested in the company, right?
Right. Okay. That's pretty interesting. I don't know. I think that's all my questions.
Cool.
But thank you. That was really
Yeah.
informative.
You bet.